In this century, great strides have been made toward the goal of subverting our republic into a democracy. The foremost tactic of the subverters is subversion of language. By calling America a democracy until people thoughtlessly accept and use the term, the totalitarians have obscured the real meaning of our principles of government. That is a summary of my report on a constitutional republic, not a democracy.
Welcome back to Notify America. We have multiple pressing stories to get to, stories that include multiple wins for the average American who's looking to strip this billionaire class from manipulating politics in this country, as we've been witnessing this assault of big money donors and outside groups pressuring candidates to basically usurp the will of the people in this Republican primary. Well, we've just witnessed two major wins in this regard, rooting out some of these swamp creatures who are playing these types of crazy games. One of the stories may even be illegal. We're not sure, we're not lawyers, but bribing someone on tape sure seems like something you're not allowed to do. Well, all of this means one thing: normal, everyday people need to keep talking, keep speaking the truth, one topic at a time, because it matters. Making your voice heard in a peaceful way is an American right, and it should be exercised. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out. And consider subscribing to continue receiving these daily updates. Billionaire Reid Hoffman pauses Nikki Haley funding after her New Hampshire loss to Trump, source says. That's the headline out of CNBC. Let me try to translate it. Nikki Haley just lost her largest mega donor to her campaign. One of the people who's been propping her up, keeping her campaign running, Reid Hoffman, a co-founder, a LinkedIn billionaire left-wing activist who's a major Democrat donor, folks, announced in December that while he is a Biden supporter, he'll be helping Nikki Haley defeat Trump in the Republican primary. And boy, has he been doing that, dishing out big money for Nikki Haley's campaign, probably getting his friends to all chip in as well. This guy's worth around $3 billion, according to Forbes, and is one of the people behind the scenes who's been bankrolling a lot of these Trump lawsuits. E. Jean Carroll's assault case that got Trump tied up in trial right now, he's paying for her legal defense there. Also playing a role in those ballot cases as well to keep Trump off the ballot. Well, take a look at this. CNBC article says billionaire Reid Hoffman does not plan to give any more money to Nikki Haley's presidential campaign. A person familiar with the matter told CNBC. Hoffman is one of Haley's first wealthy donors to start heading for the exit after she said she will remain in the GOP nomination contest against former President Donald Trump despite failing to beat him in New Hampshire or the Iowa caucus. So the cliff notes for the article is that Reid Hoffman no longer sees Haley having a shot at beating Trump in the primary, but is that really what's happening here? Or maybe it's because the cat's out of the bag, the jig's up. Everyone knows the con at this point. Here's what Vivek Ramaswamy wrote on X last night. Reid Hoffman isn't pausing his money flow to Nikki because she lost New Hampshire. It's because we got too close to the target. One of the biggest left-wing funders of the lawsuits against Trump magically ended up becoming one of Nikki's largest super PAC donors. The best way to solve a problem is to name it. And that's what we need to keep on doing. So why is Haley vowing then to stay in the race? Well, here's an explanation straight from the Wall Street Journal editorial board, who put this up after she lost New Hampshire on Tuesday. Very odd and dark article. They wrote this: if she can remain competitive, there's an argument for Ms. Haley to stay in the race through the July convention. Mr. Trump faces a treacherous legal road. Ms. Haley could stay in the race, rack up delegates, and see what happens if he is found guilty. Then they go on to say this. Listen to this. Strange things can happen with candidates who are this old and this disliked by a majority of the public. The 2024 election may have more twists before the Trump versus Biden die is cast. Strange things can happen with candidates who are this old and this disliked by a majority of the public. What exactly are they insinuating here? Strange things can happen when you're this disliked? I'm not going to say it, but I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. In another story, the top establishment Republican in the state of Arizona, Jeff DeWitt, the chair of the Arizona Republican Party, resigned last night after a secret recording was leaked of him trying to bribe Kari Lake to drop out of the Arizona Senate race. Good riddance. But more needs to happen. Reporters need to get him on the record and have him answer the question of who were the very powerful people you reference in the recording who were behind this. We made an entire video yesterday where we played the entire 5-minute recording, but in case you didn't watch that, here's a short segment of it. Watch this.
Is there a number at which
I can be bought.
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. So what's going on? I'm assuming this is our friend.
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
So who was it, Jeffrey, that sent you? Who were these powerful people back east that you reference in the tape? I don't know about you, but that's a question I think needs to be asked and answered, and that's 2 wins, folks. 2 wins in one day. Not a bad day's work. We have Reid Hoffman, one of the biggest swamp creatures out there, who just decided to no longer back Nikki Haley, pulling his money, pulling his support, and then we have the top Arizona Republican caught on tape bribing Kari Lake, allegedly stepping down now, resigning. That's a good day's work, if you ask me. In another story, the residents of Fulton County, Georgia are apparently getting fed up with all the shenanigans their elected representatives are pursuing down there. Watch as this Fulton County resident leaves the County Board of Commissioners stunned as he calls them out. Calls out their DA, Fani Willis, the DA, by the way, who's prosecuting Donald Trump, all while being accused of improperly paying her lead attorney in the case, the same attorney who she's allegedly romantically involved with. Watch this.
Good morning, Commissioners. Derek Blasingame. It is a pleasure and an honor to address you all today. Some of you all have made the comment this morning on my way in that he's done, he's through, it's over. Well, I want to let you know that Derek Blasingame, I'm done with Fulton County fumbling our elections. I'm done with the gross mismanagement of our taxpayer dollars by the Fulton County Democrats on this body. I'm disgusted at the information that is coming out of the district attorney's office as a taxpayer. I am done with most of your silence at the DA's apparent love affair with the special prosecutor and gross mismanagement of taxpayers' dollars to pursue what appears to be a frivolous lawsuit based off of partisan politics. Apparently, guys like me need to court Fulton County female executives if we want a free ride at all paid expense. Apparently, we need to pursue Natalie Hall and Fani Willis, or maybe the executives in other departments, if we want a full ride and full pay. The DA appears to be trying to protect past elections, but upon information and belief, she's trying to interfere with future elections by trying to convict a candidate before the general election. I'm requesting a financial audit to be done by the county auditor of the district attorney's office immediately. There is no way that you get more money when you're spending money, allegedly, for unnecessary and frivolous purposes. Also, these judges need to hire a lobbyist instead of grandstanding this board with these mediocre public relations stunts. Magistrate Court still needs a systemic boost and an IT transformation that's been achieved by the Superior Court clerk. It needs to be pulled together.
15 seconds.
Thank you. Finally, I'm urging you to appoint Julie Adams to the Board of Registration and Elections without delay. And we need somebody that's transparent, that's open, and that can be open-minded to all concerns and can address the people's needs. I'm also want that audit of the DA's office immediately.
All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.